Hi Lexi, my name is Ted. I'll be your physical therapist for the day. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. So, what brings you into the clinic today?
So I am a cheerleader, and I was at practice, and I was doing some tumbling, and I kind of just put my hand down really weird, and now my wrist really hurts.
Okay, so your wrist has been bothering you,
Yeah.
and that was how recent ago was that?
Probably like a week ago.
A week ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it's all right, I was gonna take some notes while we're talking back and forth. So, you said it was your wrist, and it was about a week ago.
Mhm.
Okay. And with your wrist, have you felt any other issue? Well, what kind of things are bothering with you? Is it pain? Is it numbness or tingling, or what's sort of been the issue with it?
Yeah. So it's mostly like pain. I mean, it hurts in my wrist, and then it'll kind of shoot down to my fingers sometimes.
Okay.
Like if I try to do stuff with it.
What kind of stuff do you do that sort of causes that shooting pain?
I mean, when I try to tumble, it really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I get like shooting pain into my fingers, and if I keep pushing through it, then it kind of gets a little bit numb.
Okay, so it does
Yeah.
get a little numb with overuse, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, and have you had any other issues in the past, any other injuries to your wrist or other parts of your body?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes with tumbling, you kind of just hurt yourself a little bit. Your ankles get a little
Mm-hmm.
sore and stuff, and your back, but nothing super serious.
Okay, so this is the first time this has happened to your wrist?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just going to ask you a couple other questions about your past medical history. So, have you had any personal history with cancer at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Have you had any issues with swallowing? Has your vision been okay?
Yeah, everything's been fine.
Okay. Does your balance feel okay? I know you're doing tumbling. Does your balance feel like it's on point still?
Yeah, it feels pretty even.
Okay. And you're able to swallow? You're not feeling any stomach issues, anything like that?
No.
Have you had any periods of time where you've fallen over or fainted or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Feel close to it sometimes at practice, but
Yeah. And so you said your vision's been good, so that's good to hear. Have you noticed any other issues with your body in terms of gaining weight or losing weight kind of unexpectedly?
No.
Okay. Any bowel or bladder issues at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. And what about any weaknesses? Have you felt any unexplained weaknesses while you've been tumbling or at any point during the day?
No, not really unexplained. You get tired the more times you do things, but
Yeah.
nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay, okay. So let's focus back on your wrist. So when you are going through a normal day on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no pain whatsoever, 10 being worst possible imaginable pain you've ever felt, where does that wrist fall on the spectrum?
Throughout the day, it probably sits around like a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you are using it to tumble and you're, like you said, you were overusing it and it causes more pain, how bad does that pain get on that same scale?
It probably gets like a 7 or an 8.
7 or an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are there any activities that you do with your wrist that can relieve any of the pain?
I mean, sometimes I wear like a wrap to kind of keep it a little bit stable, but that seems to help a little bit. If I ice it a lot, that seems to help. And just resting it a little bit.
Okay, so rest, ice, wrap. Okay. Are you taking any medications at all for this or just in general?
Yeah, I've been taking some Advil just to help with the pain, but that's it.
All right. And how frequent is this pain throughout the day? Is it consistent or is it just come and go? Or
I mean, it's pretty painful all day, and then it gets more painful when I use it.
okay. And how easy would it be? How easy would you say it is to sort of trigger that pain to be more painful? Is it at the first time you start tumbling it, or is it after a couple minutes or half an hour that it really starts to get worse?
I think it's usually after about like 10 reps, it'll start kind of cranking up to that like 7
Okay.
pain.
All right. So it sounds like it's preventing you from tumbling, and that's something you like to do. Is it preventing you from doing any other activities that you enjoy?
Not really. Luckily, it's my left wrist, and I'm right-handed, so it doesn't really keep me from doing most other things other than tumbling.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any specific goals that you would like to achieve through therapy?
Really just to be able to tumble without having pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of going back to where you were before it started to hurt.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And when you take the medication to help to relieve the pain, how much lower does that pain get once you do that?
It probably goes from like a 5 to a 4 or maybe a 3 sometimes.
Do the other methods that you talked about, the wrapping, the ice, do those also help bring it down that much, or is it the Advil that does the most?
I think the Advil does the most. The others get down to maybe like a 4 most of the time.
Okay. And how often are you doing these wrappings and icings and taking Advil?
I take Advil, whatever's recommended on the bottle. I think it's like every 8 hours or something. And I ice pretty much anytime that I'm just like sitting around at home. It's like every couple hours.
Okay, so you're you stay on top of it pretty good. Okay. Right. I think I have just about everything that I need from you. Do you have any questions for me or about therapy in general?
Nope, nothing for you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, Lexi. I look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Ted.